everyone, I'm the Monarch of Gold, and today we're combining the materials from the February and March Elves boxes to create a really cute bee shaker. So I guess we'll start by talking about the molds. So in February's box, the idea is that you're making a shaker frame. And so we just have these two rectangular molds. One of them has a bit of a bevel inside. The other one has this space inside of it, which is where you're going to be putting the stuff that does the shaking. In March's box, it was a cute honeycomb bee thing. So I was thinking could make a little scene. We could paint up like a little backdrop and use some of these charms to build it up, and then make more of these to go inside of the shaker, and combine that with the glitters that came with February's box to make a really cute bee themed shaker. I'm planning for the backdrop to be a painting. I'm planning to paint it in acrylic. So I have already traced the outline of the frame mold, and I know that this will not fit into the frame itself because as I'm painting, I'm going to tape down the margins. By the time we're done and it's dry and we've cut it out, it should fit into the mold just fine. That being said, I'm going to cut out my piece of paper, get it taped down, and get my paints ready so that we can paint our background scene. Got my canvas here, a palette, my brushes and palette knives, water, paper towel, my sketchbook there so that I can reference the idea, and my paints. Alright, so let's begin. I might start with a base coat of white. At this point you're not going to be able to see a whole lot because webcam doesn't do the whole white balance thing too well. I have a tree here. Sky will be here. Okay. And a little dot blue. Take a little bit of blue and paint it into the white. And if this ends up being a little bit streaky and painterly, I am fine with that. I want some clouds in the background anyway. Look at that. Already have a nice little sky in our little painting. We want to make some brown next. I'm going to put a little bit of cadmium red, or well, a lot of it. A tiny dot of blue mixed in with our orange. And it will make a very nice brown. And right there, now we have very nice brown. Just a nice swoopy little shape. Right in here. And we'll let that branch come on around. We'll say it there. Give him another little stick. Just there. Oh, that's right. I was going to put leaves there. Oopsie. Oh well. That's fine. Okay, so we've made our tree. We need to make some leaves. I should have done the leaves first. Take a little bit of yellow and throw it on here. Get a knife. Another tiny dot of blue. Mixed right in. And that green will be just fine. We'll just take a little bit of green on the brush. Tiny little dots here and there. Okay. Now we'll just use the same green. Paint in a bit of grass down here. Try to anyway. Couple little bits right down here. Got a tree done. For the most part. Might add a bit of a highlight in a second. Okay. Now that our brush is nice and clean, going to go into our white paint here and doodle in a little cloud just here. And we'll take a bit of yellow ochre. Just there. And now we're going to take this and add some highlights and details to our tree. I don't think the camera's showing you very well what's going on there. And it really isn't doing it any justice, so I will get a picture of this with my phone and overlay it on the video here so that you can really see what's going on here. I think it looks quite nice, and I think it will make a wonderful background for our little resin piece. So I'm going to let this dry, and I will bring you guys right back in just a second. I have put the painting aside for now to finish drying. As you can see, I have brought out all of the supplies that I think I will need for this part of the video. Starting first and foremost with safety precautions. I am wearing gloves. As you can hear, I'm wearing a mask. I have the window open, which is why the traffic noises are louder now. So I have all of that. And we've got our resin. We have the A and B part epoxy resin. We have a nice big bottle of UV resin, the gold color UV resin. We've got a UV light, a scale, we have our molds, we have various cups in which to measure resin, and we've also got our dyes here. I suppose we should start with the resin that's going to take the longest to cure. We'll start with part A, turn this back on. Okay. Now we pour 50 grams. Part B. And stir. Alrighty, now that our resin is mixed up, we're going to give it a few minutes to sit. And once it has set for a few minutes, we will be ready to pour. Okay, now that our molds have been filled, we are going to very carefully now our painting is dry, and so we're going to cut the border off of it so that it will fit onto the mold. We have cut it out of the border, and now we are going to very carefully position it over and drop it in. We've put the painting in the resin, and the resin is there now. We will move this off to the side. So now we're going to work on making some of our adorable little bee themed things. I think I want to make the beehive, some of the bees, and this adorable little pot of honey here. And if those go well, I might even make the little honey wand and some of the flowers. We'll start with the beehive, and I think I want the bee to just be the Goldie bee. Squeeze it in. This one's probably going to be a little bit messy, but that is fine. What color do I want the hive to be? Brown, I guess. Don't want much. There we go. We'll pour this in. Push this over. Let it cure. Let's pop it out, see what we've got. This is what we wound up with. Came out pretty nice. The bee, as expected, is very messy, but this was a practice round. So I think now I want to try and make this cute little one here with the 3 honeycomb pieces. And I have some left over here, so I think I'm going to try to do the same thing with a similar charm up here. Just using the tiniest little dots of resin to fill in the outlines of these charms. And we still have a bit of this left. I kind of want to try one of these charms with the flowers. I think I'll do the one up here with the tulips. And while that was going, I went ahead and picked out some colors for what I want our flowers to be. I picked out Misty Lavender and Flamingo Pink. I think these will be very cute as the flower colors on that one honeybee charm. or honeycomb charm. So let's take the gold resin, and so we will just squeeze out a bit of this. So let's give this a zap. And I've gone ahead and grabbed a couple of toothpicks from the kitchen so that we can mix these colors for our flowers. These two charms done, or should be. Oh, these are both so cute. That's turned out wonderfully. I'm so happy with that. Now for this guy. Slip this under here. Give it a blast. We have the finished charm. It didn't turn out too bad. It's I still have a lot to learn when it comes to keeping my colors from blending into each other, but considering how inexperienced I am, I suppose it turned out just fine. Now we are going to cut to tomorrow when I have unmolded the frames, made more of these charms, and am ready to start putting everything together. Alrighty, so we are back. It is now the next day. As you can see, our mold pieces have fully cured, and we are ready to assemble. I replaced this piece with a piece that was that I did much more cleanly, and you can see it here. I did several of the bees. I did the little wand here, and I did a little honey pot, and I've also set aside the honeycomb or the beehive, because I am not very happy with how it turned out. I think it's just a little bit too messy. So, and I think with everything else that I have made for this, that will be fine. And we've got a couple of flowers here. Our adorable little bees. And then I made one of the other little honeycombs with flowers coming off of it. With that, I think our shaker is good as far as charms go. We're still going to add in the adorable little glittery bits. Now it is time to close up our shaker. We're going to take some UV resin here. This is an older bottle of resin that I have. And put on our top and cure it. Now that our charm is fully and completely sealed, we are going to now that we finally have a hole big enough for the oil, we can squeeze it in. Close the hole. Alrighty. Don't think it's leaking anywhere. And so now our adorable little shaker is complete. I am so happy with how that turned out. Although I will say this was more of a learning experience than I was expecting it to be. Hopefully next time, because I've already made one shaker, I'll know more of what I'm doing and how to do it so that it can be done perhaps more easily or at least much more quickly than it was done this time. I already have a few ideas for things that I want to make into shakers, and if you want to see me make more shaker or more resin videos, then please let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts on this video, but I suppose that's all I've got for you today. I have another video in the works right behind the camera, and the only hint I will give you is that it is very, very red. So if you would like to know when that video comes out, please subscribe. Let me know what other videos you would like to see me do. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like so that YouTube knows that you guys like this content and will suggest it to other people. Be safe, take care, I'll see you in the next one. And some sirens for your viewing pleasure. Yeah. Going to take our hand drill and drop our bits in between.